Initiating match.
Hello and welcome everybody, I'm Psychic here with some NACE Overwatch? NACE Overwatch against the University of Akron. Now, I think we lost this one last semester, but we've got some new tricks up our sleeve and I'm excited to see how it ends up going.
Ready for battle.
We're good, we're fine. I also think that we have the, are we able to flip the overlay real quick? However, we're going to this point on Lijiang. Now, we've seen this point a decent number of times. It tends to be a very common first pick for a lot of teams, actually. It feels like the PS2 of this game. Now, we're going to have to see how this goes out. It tends to be very, very front-heavy, where the first player who is able to start that ball rolling is going to be... The first team that's able to start that ball rolling is going to be able to dominate for a lot of the match, because it's very hard to push up forward. We're going to see both teams on the composition with Orisa. Still tending to use that. We're not going to see the Sigma come out quite yet. That's going to be Muhiki coming up with the fan, the hammer, killing off the opposing horse, giving CSU a chance to start pushing in. Once that tank falls down, it's super, super hard for them to try and contest it.
Not so fast.
CSU's going to go ahead and take the point for the first time, which is going to force Akron to come and push onto their point. Which makes it a lot harder because they have a lot more control than there would be in a neutral interaction. You have these front areas, but there's such a heavy choke point that it's so hard to push in against a team who's composed. We're going to see the Brig go down. We're going to see the Orisa go down. We're going to see Captain Jr. sliding in alongside the rest of CSU to just push them back. Taking control of this first room is really, really dire for University of Akron because it's going to force them to push through an incredibly tight choke point in this door right here. And that choke point is going to be covered by Muhiki, is going to be covered by Captain Jr. These characters are incredibly good at putting a lot of pressure on. We're going to see the Deadeye come out here. not going to find anybody, but it's going to get some nice pressure on. It's going to be Ali's and IRU1 going down, unfortunately, to Sweaty, this Hanzo here. Definitely making their name a signifier, I guess. CSU has to retreat, going back into that first room, which forces a lot of so that forces a very difficult recontest. CSU playing a little bit slow, trying to find an option. There goes the satellite cannon from the University of Akron. It's going to force it out from CSU. Interaction is currently in the midst of it. There's going to be Karma going down. Bunch of ultimates coming out. That's going to be the Blizzard. However, I think it's a little bit too late. CSU just absolutely burning through Akron's front line, retaking the point at a very favorable 21% for Akron. We're back in this position where Akron is forced to just try and push through this door, but like it's such a hard choke point because you know exactly where they're going to go. Unless you're on a character with some sort of movement ability, it's not realistic to push through. We're gonna see the rally coming down from ILU1, putting some serious hurt on Akron here. 80%, and it's looking like it's now or never, and the only ultimate they have for this upcoming is probably going to be the rally and that Terra Surge, and I'm not sure if that's going to be enough. We're going to see the switch to Tracer from Sweaty. High Noon comes down from Muhiki. Extreme amount of value in this situation. There goes you're not doing this without a tank. You are not doing this without a tank unless you C9 it from the backline. Sweaty trying to capture here as CSU rotates back. Able to make it onto the point, however, CSU is now right hot on your tail, trying to drop something that's not going to work out for you. CSU a little bit disjointed here, but it's not going to be enough from Akron, able to take this first point on Lijiang. Very, very dominant showing from CSU. They lost it for just a second, however, they were able to immediately run back and take it during the next team fight.
Ready for battle.
Having a little bit of Halloween spirit on stream here. Now, this point has historically been CSU's sort of white whale point, where it's very, very hard for CSU to take this. I'm not sure if it's something about their team layout or something about the point itself, but it's always been very, very difficult for CSU to make things happen here. And we're going to see if Akron's going to be able to capitalize on that. CSU rotates onto the point. This is a very powerful position to be in on this point. Captain Junior going down to that Tanzo, which is really scary. Muhiki as well. Really not where you want to be. DPS-less, you're declawed, and you're in a really painful position as they're able to start pushing on. There goes IW1 with Ghostface having to just try and survive, trying to take down this Hanzo. But unfortunately, the Karma from University of Akron is going to be right there to take the point. And that's going to be CSU having to recontest now. This point is relatively difficult to push into. So CSU is probably going to need to find a very choice pick if they're going to do it. There goes the speed wheel. As CSU begins to rotate into the second point, it's not as closed off as that first room is on the first point. CSU trying to find options. There goes the healing torpedoes. Unfortunately, not going to get used for options. There goes the ultimate for Sweaty, but it's not going to be enough. It's only going to take down Captain Junior, and that's going to be from Karma. CSU in a little bit of a scramble situation. Karma extremely low, but back into the arms of their support. There goes the satellite vector from University of Akron, which is really scary. However, unfortunately, Muhiki dying immediately after popping the ultimate. Not where you want to be. Mark it on your bingo cards, people. There's the stun, forcing CSU off of the point, unfortunately unable to make a play off of it, but they are going to have this orbital laser for the next engagement. Never mind, they're going to drop it here, trying to make this a little bit more gummy. I think that's because CSU was able to rotate in. There goes Sweaty, there's the High Noon from the opposing, however, they're also not going to get it off. I guess nobody loves Cowboys in the modern day and age. CSU able to take the point at 64%, a lot of percentage for University of Akron, but also pretty substantial ultimate advantage from CSU. Sure, University of Akron has access to the rally, access to the Terra Surge, But CSU has access to the Terror Surge, has access to the Rally, has access to the Overclock, which I think is going to make it a lot harder for them to push in. I think University of Akron's main concern right now is probably going to be getting that ultimate for the Hanzo up and trying to play through that. Karma goes down, Sweaty goes down along with Flashbang. This is not looking good for Akron as CSU continues to hold the point, pushing it to a 36%. Not quite in the lead yet, but definitely getting there. Unfortunately, this puts CSU back into disadvantage ultimate-wise. However, I'm not sure it's the end of the world. That's going to be the speed ring alongside the Rally. They really want to take this point here and now with only the Rally, I think. See Muhiki stuck in the backline, getting chased out by the opposing Brigitte. Unfortunately, finished off by the Hanzo. These sightlines, it feels like everybody in this match is able to just entirely ruin a sightline. Unfortunately, CSU taking some major losses from this fight. You need to find something either in the recontest or right here to find something powerful, but Alizu goes down, and at that point, I think you cut your losses and start regrouping. Painful position to be in for CSU, but they did take the lead. Down on ultimate percentage, down on percentage in just a little bit. CSU needs to find a way to pierce through Akron's defenses, or this point is going to continue to be incredibly cursed for them. Alizu trying to push in on the opposing tank. That Karma is extremely low. Karma goes down, and once that tank goes down, they fall like dominoes. There goes Ghostface, but alongside Flashbang, trading for the Junos, trying to push onto the point. There goes the grenade. There goes the Cassidy. Muhiki, it doesn't matter if it's a revolver or a sword in his hands, something's gonna happen. There goes CSU recontesting at 96%. It's do or die. However, CSU's got some ultimates to play alongside. We're going to see both teams dropping the orbital laser. There's the Terror Surge taking out the Brigitte. That could be major. CSU currently having to fight for control of the point. Ghostface taking some serious damage, but able to trade once again with Flashbang. I guess either team is not allowed to have a Juno at the same time. It's either all Juno or no Juno. Cap Jr. goes down to the unfortunate Deadeye as Alizu was just trying to stay on the point. There goes the Cassidy. I really want trying to get onto the point to support. There goes Sweaty on the Tracer. It's in overtime if CSU can just hold it. Whoever wins this point wins the round. There goes the Rally immediately on cooldown from IRLU1, trying to just win this fight here and now. CSU has to find it. There goes the Brigitte. There goes the tank. Oh my goodness! IRLU1! That was masterful. That was so sick. That's an environmental. It has to be play, right? That's an environmental. It has to be play.
Play of the
Okay, fine. Fine. I can live with this. But yeah, there's the kill into the high noon, forces them to go back into the point, which allows CSU to start pushing in. Muhiki just genuinely shredding and having a little bit of Highlander moment. There can only be one Cassidy. And I said this last time, so I'm not going to finish the joke.
Initiating match.
Alrighty then, folks, we're going to the Bane of Time Monster, King's Row. Now, CSU has had a decent performance this semester here. I'm not all too concerned, but I definitely don't want CSU to get off of their... I don't want CSU to get comfortable. I feel like the main problem that tends to occur is CSU will get into a really advantageous position. They will get a really, really good round, and they'll get a little bit comfortable. They'll be willing to play a little bit easier, a little bit less locked in, a little bit just more casually, and it'll come back to bite them.
I'm hoping for
Now, I'm going to see a change to Sombra for Muhiki here, which I kind of like. I feel like there's a lot of areas in the backline, and like there is a lot of verticality on King's Row. And while I might honestly prefer the Genji here, I don't hate it.
5, 4, 3, 2,
Peace.
1. Attackers incoming.
Alright, there goes the beginning of the match. We're going to see a hack on the health pack, trying to make it restore a little bit quicker, and also do what hack does. We're going to see the speed ring come down from Akron going into the hotel here. Now as we close to overheating, but backing off just in the nick of time. Akron taking a little bit of a position behind CSU, but we're going to see the attempted hack on the Brigitte, unfortunately unable to go through. Alizu and Captain Jr. go down, and unfortunately that's Muhiki as well. IRU1 currently in the back line, retreating to try and group up with the rest of his team. And there's the switch to Cassidy. I'm seeing a nod from Time Monster. Probably a more smart pick. I mean, Muhiki was absolutely cleaning house on the Cowboy earlier, so I'm not too afraid to see it, and we're immediately going to see Karma on just absolute pittance, shredded. There goes Sweaty down from Alizu. That's going to be Karma down as Akron tries to continue to push the payload, but unfortunately they're going to be pushed back very aggressively by CSU, forced into the hotel here. Captain Jr. using the spawner to get a little bit more charge here, 95%. We're going to see that sonar arrow from Hanzo being very, very valuable here. Fidelity going up, but that's going to be the orbital ray coming down from University of Akron. They have the advantage as Alizu pops the Terra Surge and is just barely kept alive by Ghostface here. But that's going to be enough to take down Flashbang, which could be major. There goes the Dragon, which could be very painful for CSU. But it looks like CSU is going to be able to survive it here. Dropping the Deadeye, but unfortunately, because of the wall, it's not going to find anything. Orbital laser in CSU's pocket. They just got to find when they want to use it. There goes the opposing Terra Surge into the opposing May ultimate. This is very scary, but Karma's going to go down, and Ghostface is too. But without a tank, it could be very hard for Akron to do much of anything. Alex is using a little bit of spin to win to get some damage in, but looks like he's stranded, trying to shred this Juno, but they're going to be able to make it out just barely alive. Terra Surge is online for when health goes too low. Alizu looking like an impenetrable wall here, standing on the payload, but has to back up just a little bit to regroup with his team. The wall goes down, and Alizu goes as well. And that wall can be such a brutal option for denying healing in situations like that. I wonder if the Terra Search might have been an option, but Karma goes down as well. CSU does have a chance to try and revenge push here. Jump from Captain Jr. falling off the high ground, but unfortunately getting shredded by this Hanzo. CSU having to take a little bit of a waiting situation, trying to regroup and rethink what they're going to do here. They do have access to the rally and the Terra Surge, which could be major. Opposing rally comes down, and the rally comes down from CSU with the Terra Surge, forces them off of the point. Allies are taking some major hits, but like if there's one thing the horse can do, it's take hits. Wall comes down. CSU is trying to hold on to this point for dear life, is not going to let Akron get a little bit further. They got to hold this for about 3 minutes, and this is right before that point that's real easy to hold. But unfortunately, a little bit of a scary situation. Alizu just barely dying there on a little bit of health for very, very long. Ultimate from Hanzo comes down. Mei is out of the picture, but unfortunately Muhiki's getting harassed by the horse. A little bit of a scary situation, but Muhiki just barely unable to find the health pack. But that's some serious damage to Karma. That's unfortunately going to be healed before the next interaction. CSU now sitting in third is going to have to find a way to hold for about 3.5 minutes, but this point is very holdable. It's incredibly easy to hold, to defend on. One, because of that respawn, and two, just because of its format. We're going to see a switch to Ash from Sweaty here. Major damage going to take down Captain Jr. Unfortunately, with Muhiki and IWU out of the picture as well. CSU getting pushed back a little bit, just a little bit too far. CSU needs to find a way to get in. They have access to the overclock and almost have the orbital laser, but it's looking like it's not going to be too possible. IWU trying to stand onto the point, but immediately gets shredded. Captain Jr. with the ultimate, but it's just barely too slow. And that is going to be the first round, with Akron making it all the way to the end. About 3 minutes on the clock? About 3 minutes on the clock. Let's see if CSU can do it a little bit faster.
Initiating match.
Alrighty then, moving into this next round, we're going to see Sweaty on the Ashe instead of the Hanzo.
Work together and we'll make it through.
If anyone requires my assistance, please inform me.
Hey. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And we are moving into the second round with the speed ring immediately letting CSU bolt into this first interaction. And we're going to see CSU taking a little bit of cover behind this statue, taking control of that early health pack. Akron currently taking home in the side building over there. CSU takes a pretty... I like where CSU is holding here. It gives them a lot of space to work with as Akron has to try and adjust to it. The ball from Captain Jr. is going to come down, deal some serious damage. That's major damage on Karma. Karma is out of the picture. CSU needs to make a swing with this. That Juno's on pittance. There's barely anything she can do aside from run away, and Muhiki is going to be right there to punish and get this Juno off of the table.
Area denial.
Muhiki running in, trying to get a little bit more damage, but it's not going to be too much more.
Lost. Stop the payload.
We're going to see CSU take control of this payload with about 5 minutes on the clock. Very, very powerful start. Alizu's going to get a nice pick on Sweaty. However, never mind, CSU's in pretty healthy condition. I saw some low healths for a second, but Ghostface and Captain Jr. and IWU1, I apologize, I'm still looking at the far right. IWU1 and Ghostface taking some serious healing into account. As CSU pushes them back with the Deadeye, even if it's not going to find kills, it forces Akron off of that sightline entirely, allowing CSU to continue pushing in here. Duel of the Horses, it feels like Alizu's probably got a lot more cooldowns online. However, there goes the Vector coming down alongside the opposing. Every time we hear it, if both teams have it, it's usually coming down. Sebi goes down, Karma goes down. CSU in some pretty scary positions for Akron as they are able to continue pushing. It feels like they've taken control of the cart and they have not stopped. and see if CSU is going to be able to keep this rolling.
Area denial.
I see Akron waiting behind the wall, dropping the speed ring, trying to run into the encounter. Captain Jr. with the overclock. Bob's coming down from Akron. And that's a 1-2-3, followed up with Mohiki, able to take out the Juno, which I think is a major. Once you're able to take these supports, it's very hard to stay stable, especially as a tank. That's Karma down. CSU continuing their rampage, pushing into the third point with about 5 minutes on the clock. If Akron wants to be able to even this up, they're going to need to take something from CSU. And just given the way that CSU was playing in the previous round, it's going to be really hard for them to make up for it in the tiebreakers.
Step right up.
It's going to be Mohiki dropping the Deadeye in a position where it's really, really painful. There goes the tank. Sure, it's only one, but in this hit, do you really need any more? Mohiki immediately shooting down the tank. I've heard of putting down a horse, but this is something else. Brigitte goes down. CSU continues to push. Alizu on some real scary help here, but able to get survived here by both supports. Really, in those situations, that's what you want. However, CSU continuing to push, just trying to force them off of the point. Akron really wants to contest here, but it's not going to be enough, with CSU able to take it with 3:29 on the clock.
Score 3-3. Switching sides. Initiating match.
Alrighty, and we move into tiebreakers. Now, CSU is sitting with a decent amount more time than Akron here.
Battle.
And frankly, given that first encounter, CSU took control of that cart and they did not stop running. Which feels like if they can do that again in the tiebreakers, if they can play, like, sure, Akron's going to have time to adapt, Akron's going to have time to rethink what they're doing, but the concern with that is it going to be enough? CSU is able to steamroll through with no interactions lost, and with 3 minutes on the clock, even if you're able to take an interaction or two, is that really going to be enough? You're going to have to push incredibly hard here if you're Akron.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming. Defend objective A.
You see CSU trying to hold here. Not going to see the speed ring come down. Never mind. The moment I mention it, speak of the devil and it will appear. CSU in a little bit of a scary situation. Alizu in the middle of everything. IW1 goes down. Really not what you want to see, because that means that CSU is down a support and down a lot of healing, which means Alizu is going to have to play a little bit more conservatively. And when you're in tiebreakers, that's the last thing you want to be playing. Mohiki goes down too. Alizu and the rest of the team trying to just hold on to this point. We're going to see Captain Jr. trying to beam down from above. Ghostface trying to keep everybody alive with IW1 out of the picture. Alizu having a little bit of a tank battle, however, supported by the rest of his team. There comes the Fortify as CSU continues to fight. They're holding this point as hard as they can, even if it might not be for too long. There goes Sebi. IW1 goes down, but Mohiki's going to be there. A little bit unfortunate that they're stuck in this stagger situation, but they are going to find a little bit of value out of it. Minute left on the clock for University of Akron as they take control of the payload. Now, CSU is going to need to spend a little bit of time to regroup here, but it's not looking the worst. If CSU can do what they did in the previous round, they are looking pretty clean. Flashbang on the side of Akron unfortunately does have access to the orbital laser, and in these kinds of interactions where you're not going to have the ultimate to counter it, it's really not a good position to be. Aura coming down from... There goes the orbital ray. We're gonna see CSU trying to counter. There goes the every ultimate imaginable coming down all at once. Sweat. Oh no. Sweaty finding a double on IW1 and Alizu, which is scary because it's going to be a lot further of a push. They're in overtime. If CSU can force them off of the point, that's going to be the end of it. But unfortunately, Karma's going to shred through the rest of CSU. They do have some pretty serious ultimates coming up. So I think CSU probably can take it here, but it's painful. You're effectively going to have to get to either second or maybe even third, depending on how you play this next interaction, if you want a chance of winning during your tiebreakers. Receive a bunch of ultimates come down. CSU doesn't have access to their rally yet, but they see a lot of things come down. There goes the Brigade, there goes the tank, and this is probably the end of the story for Akron if CSU can clean up here. Wall goes up, just trying to stall for time so that somebody can cycle in, but unfortunately for Akron, that is going to be the end of their tiebreaker, making it to the second point.
Score 3-5. Switching sides. Initiating match. Ready for battle.
Make sure you're ready. Who knows what we'll find out there.
Hello.
What is that?
Get on you.
What is that?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming. Defend objective A. Not so fast. I am looking down.
Disrupt it.
Stay alive, boy. Much better. That's where it hurts. Let's get you all better. See what happens when you mess with me.
You're 6.
Execute. Double kill. Team kill. Objective lost. Escort the payload.
I'm really feeling the heat.
Not so fast. Here it comes. Disrupting.
Make way.
It's high noon.
The payload
Where there's
has reached
smoke,
the
there's fire. Let's take it off. Time over, man. Let them all You don't know when to quit.
I grow strong. Team victory. Play of the game.
Was I muted for all of that? Okay. I just pressed the button and it unmuted. I was muted for most of that game, I think. Oops. Alrighty, and I promise that I'm going to be unmuted for this one. Alright. Esperanza. We're going to go to push. Feel like this is going to be very, very valuable. Although both teams have been able to play a very long-range game with some of these characters. Things like the Cassidy. Things like the Hanzo and the Sojourn. Able to poke for a pretty good amount of damage. I think we're going to go fishing for just a little bit. You know, I never say good morning on stream because if it were a good morning, I'd be fishing. Although I also don't stream in the morning, so that might also be the ball. Please, no, you're gonna switch. You're switching. You're switching. I can't get my hopes up like this. I cannot get my hopes up like this. Is it real? Please tell me it's real. Please, Alizu, I know you can't hear me. Please, 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 please. Please.
2, 1.
It's real. It's so real. Okay. Okay, it's so real. Ball. Alizu on ball. Let's go. Okay. Changing on positions, we're going to see the Zenyatta from IW1. Definitely a very scary character if you're able to get some of that nice damage in.
Not so fast.
Also helps out when ball is going to be... Oh! Oh, that damage, that's a lot of damage. CSU just shredding through a bunch of University of Akron's players here. Karma on the Diva trying to survive, but that Discord orb, it really does not give you a lot of room to breathe, especially when you've got a hamster just absolutely going to town. We got it. Listen, I'm incredibly excited to have ball on screen. And a potential, I'm not going to say it, but like, CSU's been playing real good tonight. And I wonder if we're going to see Alizu! What kind of Looney Tunes are you doing? I have to keep myself, what Looney Tunes stuff are you doing? Malarkey, thank you. A word that I can say on stream. Alizu just on the point! I'm loving the ball. It's just a bunch of ball antics. 97 and 94 on Muhiki and Alizu respectively. Interaction in the back line with these two tracers. Forces out the pulse bomb, unfortunately. Not going to find too much value. I feel like I'm watching two flies chase each other. CSU loses control of the point, but gives a decent amount of starting lead. Unfortunately, not enough to get that forward spawn, but definitely enough to be relevant. We're going to see Alizu with access to the ultimate. See the drop of the minefield here. Mines are very dispersed, and Karma's going to get demeched here and immediately shredded. Without a tank here, CSU is going to have a pretty strong time for using his backline. There goes the Cassidy. Forgot his name for a second. They change it too frequently. For good reasons. There goes the Brigitte. And that's going to be CSU once again having control of the robot. Pushing really close towards an access to that forward spawn. Alizu playing the ball. Like, this is how you play ball. You're a little nuisance. You're just doing things. And they have to acknowledge you. CSU, unfortunately, in a little bit of a scary ultimate disadvantage. We're seeing the orbital laser, we're seeing the Deadeye, we're seeing the Growly and the bomb. Just everything in the kitchen sink on the side of Akron against a hamster. That's me, Sweaty and Flashbang going down as CSU continues to try and push. Contest currently online, but CSU probably can make this happen. Karma gets demeched, unable to pop the bomb early enough, and that's going to be CSU able to continue their push into University of Akron's territory. If they can keep this up, like, granted, a lot of that came down to the fact that they wanted to save on their ultimates, but CSU, through that encounter, has 4 of their own. I don't think you're going to hop up that Alizu, but it's funny to watch you try. Jumping into the fight. There goes the Brigitte off the table. And Karma trying to chase down, but unfortunately getting demeched. There goes the bomb. Alizu just barely unable to finish her off before remecking. But this is still looking pretty good. CSU, both teams have used a singular ult. Immediate, just both at the same time, both dropping the orbital laser. High Noon is on the table here. That's going to be Sweaty going down. CSU continues their push here. There is the rally from the opposing Brigitte. Alizu currently in the backline harassing this Cassidy. Another tracer there, but Muhiki's going to get some serious damage on this Cassidy, getting them killed, frankly. CSU loses control of the robot, but they've got a huge advantage here. That's going to be Alizu just jumping in just for major damage. There goes the Brigitte. CSU once again in control of the robot, about to come up on a rally in a minefield. That minefield in this kind of situation seems absolutely dire for Akron, especially with nothing in the tank to counter it. And that's it. That is an incredibly clean 3-0 from CSU. And Ball was on screen and we won with him. I love Ball. Muhi. In the backline, takes out the Juno, chases down this Cassidy, shreds him, and then immediately shreds the unmech Diva, finishing off for that encounter. Now, thank you so much for joining us. I have been Psychic with Time Monster on production. Thank you so much for joining us. We will have more games for you next week, so stay tuned for that. Oh, we have more games tomorrow. Sick. Alrighty, thank you so much for joining us. I've been Psychic. Sorry for being muted for a whole game, and I was so excited to have Ball on my screen. Have a good night, everybody.